Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razek at CMTrading. Today is January 15th, 2019, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the day, big event coming out of United Kingdom that's happening throughout the day, and that's a parliamentary Brexit vote, and hopefully this will be the end of it. I mean, it's been just dragging on for so long, over 2+ years of just lack of focus in the market, lack of the direction of the markets, how it's actually going to happen. And hopefully today will be somewhat of, an end to sight to it. Now, looking at the other economic events of the day, out of Europe, we have President Draghi will be speaking. That's happening tentatively at 5 p.m. South African time. The euro's just like been trading a little bit, on the low side with lack of volume there as well. But looking at the markets at a whole, we're looking at the GBP push higher with the focus on Brexit. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. Looking at the indices, the Dow pushes higher than 24,000. This may be the impetus to push us even higher with the Brexit vote. Looking at the commodities, oil setting up an upside down head and shoulders, and gold is lower. Okay, we're going to take a look at that as well. And lastly, looking at crypto, we got that close yesterday. We closed the gap yesterday in the gap down that we had on Bitcoin. But does that mean that it's going to sell off now? But let's take a look at markets and see what we can expect. So as you can see at a 4-hour chart, we're looking here at the GBP USD, and we're at all-time highs on the 4-hour chart at least. As you can see, we pushed higher above 129. So really from the low of here of 124 up to 129, it's over 400 pips in less than a month. So it's really tremendous amount of volatility here looking at the GBP USD. Now let's take a look at a longer time frame just to give us perspective here. And we had a little bit of a resistance here, and we're right there at that threshold of 129.13, right below 130-ish level. Okay, but altogether, and got to see if this actually will continue going out higher, or will it, change its course once this Brexit vote actually fruits. So keep a look at this and keep an eye on it as this relates to today. Now, I just do want to emphasize to trade responsibly, trade smaller, because the moves could be vicious at times. So just be aware of that. Now, looking at the Euro USD, we kind of had this breakout last week and then correction, and then we haven't had much action here. Okay, so this is really, I think, waiting for what Brexit is going to look like before it takes any sort of shape in one direction or another. Now, jumping to the Aussie USD, still very strong, above this 71.90-ish level on that resistance that we had. The question is that are we capitulating here or making somewhat of a correction? That has time to tell, okay? But, ultimately, we are looking like we are going to break it out, but just keep an eye on this to see if there is breakout or it does lack that volume. Maybe we'll get that correctional move. Now, jumping into that oil, this is what I'm talking about, okay? This is the head and shoulders. This would be the head. This is that shoulder setting up, and this is the second shoulder setting on the other side. Now, the question is that are we going to see this continue up higher? And this is actually a pretty decent setup, just buying a little bit small here just in the anticipation that we get that correction on the upside. That's something to anticipate later today. Now, with the hapstance of what's been going on in the markets regarding Brexit, we see a little bit of lack of volume in gold. It's not really selling off sharply to the 1270-ish level, but not breaking out higher either. Okay, so relatively, it's still quite flat as to what's been going on in the markets. So looking at that Dow Jones, we're above that 24,000. If we look at a 4-hour chart, you can see that a little bit better. A nice little rally since the beginning of the year. Since the day after Christmas, we've had a nice little rally from 21,500 level to 24,000. I think we could push out higher to 25,000. That's my next, goal. Intermittently to maybe the sell-off that we're going to have later in the quarter, but right now I see it still pushing out higher as the market, relates to what's going on with Brexit. Now, looking at Apple, dead, okay, not breaking out higher. Now, the next time the market's going to turn on the downside, I would expect Apple to actually sell off quite sharply. Okay, that means that there are no buyers where the general market is actually, pushing out higher. Apple's really dead here. Okay, this is really a layup kind of move, but I wouldn't jump into it short yet. I would wait for the market to actually turn. This is called relative strength, used many times in trading, and this is a classical case of that. Whereas when you look at Facebook, that actually bounced. Okay, it didn't bounce above this 146-ish level, but it bounced, okay? So still, you still have that move. If it does break above this 146, we may see it continue going up to 151 and capitulating there. So altogether, the markets are responding positively, but the stocks are not going higher. So the question is that are we going to get that correction in the Dow Jones just further? Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin here, this was the gap down that we had yesterday, and this is filling in the gap of 36.23. This actually may falter here. Okay, in generally speaking, in a gap down situation to fill up the gap, this actually fails once it fills in the gap. So let's see if that actually fruites with today's trading. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day, but make sure that you're trading responsibly because today it will probably be very volatile. Thank you.